A tenant in Florida was shocked and surprised when, after he trash talked his landlord on Facebook, he didn't renew his lease. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News.
It makes me feel this big.
Robert Dressler says he's sick of the way his landlord is treating him and other residents.
They make me feel like some kind of middle school kid.
He lives here at the Slade at Channelside.
The location here is amazing. I'm just so settled in.
But soon he'll be living somewhere else.
They just sent me a non-renewal notice.
Kicked out at the end of his lease.
I asked them why, and they had said it's because of the negative energy you create in a Facebook group.
Dressler created a Facebook group when he first moved in as a marketplace for residents, but now they use it to make repeated complaints about doors that don't lock, fruit flies coming through drains, and...
Here's a photo of the amount of poop that I found on the floor one time right by an entranceway, just trying to warn people so that they don't step in it.
In an email exchange Dressler gave us, the property manager says he, quote, fostered a negative environment for the building, deterred prospects from renting, and made multiple false and misleading claims about the building.
All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of the state of Florida, and it has to do with the things that people say on social media. Now, obviously, people, they see what you're going to say, okay? They see the things that you post, they see the messages that you make, and yeah, sometimes it's going to have an impact on your life. So in the story I'm covering today, basically a tenant was trash talking his landlord on Facebook, right? And the landlord didn't like it and decided not to renew his lease. And now he's upset. He's upset because he's like, this isn't right. It isn't right that the landlord's not renewing my lease. And you know what I have to say to that? That this guy's a fool. He's an absolute moron, because it's obvious that if you sit there and you trash talk your landlord on social media, landlord's not going to like it and is going to act accordingly. Like I've said before many times, right? A landlord should not be forced to renew someone's lease if you don't get along. If you think this person is such an awful landlord, why are you staying there in the first place? Why should this landlord have to put up with you treating them like crap, you scaring away other prospective tenants, and dealing with your nonsense? They shouldn't have to, okay? It's a business and customer relationship, and you should not be forced to serve somebody who just disrespects you in this sort of way. And I agree 100% with the landlord's actions in deciding not to renew the lease of this person. So before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below and let me know what you think. So I have a question for all the landlords out there. If one of your tenants got up onto social media, be it Facebook or whatever, right, and posted about how awful a landlord you are, would you renew that person's lease? Okay, now obviously laws differ from place to place, and in certain places, it is almost impossible not to renew the lease of a person, even if they trash talk you, disrespect you in every sort of manner. As long as they're paying their rent on time, you have to renew their lease. But where I invest, no, you don't have to do that. You don't have to put up with such disrespect. Anyway, let's get into the article. I want to get into the details and let you know what's happening here. This article is coming from WTSP.com, and it says, I'm just so settled in. Tampa man says landlord is kicking him out over Facebook posts. Yeah, and as I go through the article, you'll see that it's more than just, random Facebook posts that we're talking about here. So let's get into the details. A Tampa man thought he had found the perfect place in Channelside for an apartment. But after 2 years of living there, he's been told to leave because of posts in a Facebook group. 10 Tampa Bay spoke with a man who says he doesn't feel welcome at his home. Robert Dressler is sick of how his landlord treats him and other residents. They make me feel like some kind of middle school kid, he says. He lives at the Slade at Channelside, but soon he'll be living somewhere else. He's being kicked out at the end of his lease. Well, he sits there and he talks about how awful the landlord's treating him like a middle school kid. Doesn't sound like you're having a good time there anyway, so maybe you should be looking for another place to live anyway. But instead, you're complaining that the landlord's kicking you out. So somebody who you don't think treats you correctly, you want to continue to live there so that you can continue to be tortured? If it's so awful for you, why aren't you just moving on your own? You're upset that the landlord's not renewing. You're like, no, the landlord should just treat me better. No, that's the way the landlord acts. If the landlord has a set of rules and a way that they do business, and you don't like the way that they're doing business, rather than trying to get them to change their entire business plan, the entire way that they operate, maybe instead you should move along to someone who operates in a different manner, which you do like. Okay, that would be the best option for you instead of trying to change things with this business. Okay, people, they act like they can control everything that a business is going to do. Like, I'm like, okay, I don't like the way that McDonald's operates their drive-through, and I want McDonald's to change everything about their business to please me. No. You can just go to another fast food place down the street because we're not changing anything. Too bad for you if you don't like going to another burger place down the street. But this is McDonald's, okay? And the same thing applies when it comes to real estate, when it comes to being a landlord, right? We operate our businesses in a certain way. If you don't like it, feel free to move on. We don't have to serve you. At least not in places like Florida and here in Nebraska where I invest. The location here is amazing, he says. I'm just so settled in. He loves the neighborhood's proximity to the Tampa Riverwalk, restaurants, and other amenities, and was shocked when his landlord sent him a non-renewal notice. I asked them why, he tells Tenant Tampa Bay. They had said it's because of the negative energy you create in a Facebook group and lies and misleading claims. And now we're starting to get into the truth of what really is happening, right? So apparently this guy is spreading a lot of negative energy within a Facebook group about the apartments where he lives, okay? And they think he's telling lies and misleading information within this Facebook group, right? And so I don't know what the truth is or what's not the truth, right? What I do know is the perception, right? And obviously there's going to be two sides to every story, the landlord side and the tenant side. But when you're putting only your side up there, right, and you're swaying people away from wanting to rent inside this apartment building because you're making it sound like it's a slum, when that's just not the truth, at least not the truth to the landlord, right? Then they see it as you are directly attacking them, okay? And you directly attacking them is a good reason not to renew your lease. I'm just saying it like it is, okay? If one of my tenants is out there, right, and they're saying, okay, Tony, he is an awful landlord. He is absolutely horrible in every way. He never fixes any of his repairs. He's a super cheapskate. He's just awful in every way. Do not rent from him. If they're going on a Facebook group and saying that about me right now, I'm not going to renew your lease, okay? Because that's a direct attack on me. And so, like I said, I agree 100% with what this landlord is doing. Dressler created a Facebook group when he first moved in to offer a marketplace for residents, but they now use the group to make repeated complaints about doors that don't lock, fruit flies coming through drains, and dog droppings in the hallways, a 10 Tampa Bay review found. In an email exchange Dressler gave us, the property manager says he fostered a negative environment for the building, detoured prospects from renting, and made multiple false and misleading claims about the building. I have since asked them to explain exactly what has been misleading in any of my Facebook posts, and they just ignored me, he says. And that's just the thing, right? Well, let's look at some of the complaints that we have here, that are just in the article, right? It says that, the guy, he actually created this Facebook group. So this isn't like a group for residents that had already existed. This person created this Facebook group in order to complain about the housing conditions, okay? That's a big issue right there. So then, this wasn't an anonymous account or any of that nonsense, right? Like, honestly, I don't even mind if I'm getting anonymous reviews saying, hey, I've got this, that, and that problem. My problem is that somebody comes up in my face and disrespects me like that, okay? And that is exactly what this guy did to his landlords and his property managers. He, in their face, without hiding his name, disrespected them, and talking about doors that don't lock, fruit flies coming through drains, and dog droppings in the hallways. Well, you know, fruit flies are going to be coming up the drain if you have food clogged in it. Now, do you think that's the fault of the landlord? No, I don't think so, okay? Dog droppings in the hallway. Do you think the landlord is walking around with a dog, making the dog crap in the hallway? Of course not, okay? It's probably against the landlord's rules for the tenants to have their dogs take a dump in the hallway. But some of your neighbors are exactly who did that, right? And what else do we say? So doors that don't lock, fruit flies, dog droppings. These sound like things that are normal complaints inside an apartment building where you have a lot of other tenants, right? So if the complaints are, hey, the landlord isn't fixing these problems quickly enough, well, guess what, right? We're going to have these issues no matter where you live. And you talking junk about the landlord, it doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit you at all, okay? If you want something fixed, you go in private, you tell your landlord what the problem is. That's the best way to get something fixed quickly. Not posting on social media how crappy your landlord is and how they won't fix anything. That's not a good way to get things fixed quickly, okay? That's a good way to have the landlord not renew your lease. They also wouldn't respond to our repeated requests for comment about why they decided to make Dressler find a new place to live. He says an attorney told him he had a case, but it was not worth the cost. At the end of the day, when you're talking about paying lawyers and fees, the cost outweigh the cost of just moving, he said. Exactly. Okay? What is your case? And that's what my real question is, right? What is the case for non-renewal of the lease in a place that doesn't have just cause or good cause eviction protections? Okay, your term was 12 months or whatever, right? Let's say your term was 12 months. At the end of the 12 months, if I decide not to give you a new lease, well, you don't have a case. I just decided not to rent to you anymore for whatever reason that may be. And it is 100% legal in places like Florida, okay, where you live. So get over it. Go find another place to live. You can hire a lawyer if you want. That lawyer is going to tell you everything you want to hear, but the truth of the matter is that the landlord's in the right, you're in the wrong. Move on. Okay, so what do you think? Do you think that this landlord was in the wrong? Do you think that it was a bad idea not to renew this person's lease? Do you think that this guy actually has a case? Put it in the comments section down below.